from the book From Pen to Pen. The book From Pen to Pen. It could be purchased at Amazon, also Barnes and Nobles. If you go to Amazon under books, you look up the title From Pen to Pen. This is how it appears. This is what it looks like from pen to pen. The cost is $22.89, $23 book. Right, inexpensive. Which brings us to this episode here. This is why we're allowing the reader, those that like to read, and those that look to be inspired by life-changing events and transitions and the likes. This book, we're going over chapter by chapter, just to give the individuals who are unable to afford the book the opportunity to get a glimpse at what the book is speaking about, what the book is talking about. The book covers so many components of the prison industrial complex. It covers education. It covers street life. It covers so many different components that you really have to be missing the mark to say that I haven't experienced any of those in life. But this is something that we're all experiencing. This book is not just about me, it's about the lifestyle of many past and present, and some soon will be future. Today, we continue with the episode, the transition of the acronyms. The transition of the acronyms. During this episode, we present to you a few chapters dealing with acronyms connected to my transition. We covered SCIG, State Correctional Institution of Greatest. We covered the PPS, Philadelphia Prison System. Today we're going to be covering LITS, LITS, Living in the Streets. And we're going to cover this episode, bringing some examples for street life, what street life has to offer, the gains, the benefits, the harms, and my advice on living in the streets. My personal advice to myself and to others. Street life is dangerous. It's a very dangerous life that you really don't want to get caught up in. You don't want to get caught up in street life, because the streets has an agenda. What we need to understand is that street life, it has an agenda. It's not for everybody. Average individuals, streets will destroy you. Streets will spit you out. This is why you see certain people, they live longer in the streets. And I return all of that back to the divine decree. That everything has a shelf life. Everything has a shelf life, a time period, a period in which it's going to survive, and a time period which says it's going to end. Everything has a shelf life. And that's how we have to look at things in life. Just because it's good today doesn't mean it's going to be good tomorrow. Just because it's around today and it's beneficial, doesn't mean it's going to be around tomorrow and beneficial. Tomorrow could be the day that it comes to an end. Tomorrow could be the day in which your reign comes to an end. Your time period for existing inside of that episode. Your time period for being present, for participating inside of that event. Yes, it's going to come to an end. Please don't allow yourself to believe that the way that you're going to live is going to be forever. That the way that you're living is going to be forever. And that you're not going to come to an end in concern of it. Everything will have an end. Everything will come to an end. And this is why religion is important. Because you have to have one to turn to in good times as well as bad times. You have to have one to turn to in good times as well as bad times. You cannot go on just believing that your life is going to continue in this way forever. And you're living a life in a negative way, in a negative aspect. Don't think that that negativity is going to last forever. It's going to come to an end. And vice versa. You live in a positive lifestyle. And you think you're above and beyond all things. Don't think that that is going to last forever. That also is going to come to an end. So when we talk about this thing, street life, here's what we have to pay attention to. That the streets don't love you. The streets do not love you. And the streets will never love you. The streets will chew you up, and the streets will spit you out. LITS, living in the streets. How many? How many could just sit back and say, yeah, I participated in that? That's an event that I participated in. Street life, living in the streets. Yes, I've entertained that lifestyle before. It's no superheroes. There are no superheroes in street life. You are destined for prison or the graveyard. Street life has incentives. The incentives are two. The pen, the penitentiary, or the graveyard. Both of them, you're going to be in a box. Both of them, you're going to end up in a box. In the prison cell or inside the cell of a graveyard. A box. As they say, 6 feet under, inside of a box. That box, that will be your place of abode. When you sign up for street life. It's the unofficial rules. They don't tell you. Many ask the question, how did I get there? How did I be a part of the Living in the Streets episode? I said, well, it's simple. It's what you sign up for. What does a person sign up for in the beginning of an episode? What does he sign up for? And what does he expect to achieve or receive from that episode of what he signs up for? The streets, what does it have to offer? The streets, what can it give you? The streets, how can they benefit you? The streets, how can they harm you? These are the questions that you have to ask yourself when you're thinking about entertaining the street lifestyle. Wherever you live at, wherever you're from, there's a street life connected to your locale. Where you're from, what neighborhood, there's a street life connected to. So when I contemplate over street life, I contemplate over one valuable point, and that's the decisions that I've made. See, one thing about street life, the only way you're going to be a part of it is if you sign up for it. The only way you're going to be a part of street life is if you sign up for it. You don't just come outside and, hey, I'm in the street life. No, you got to sign up for it. You got to start engaging in the activities that come with the street life. You remember what we talked about a few chapters back? The ecological makeup, the ecological system, the people, the places, and things, the people who you interact with, the places where you go, the things that you do. And when you put all three of those together and you allow those things, those three things to interact with one another, whether it's positive or negative, it's going to break down your ecological makeup. It's going to break down your ecological system. It's going to break down your ordinary everyday affairs. I want my ecology to be connected to my religion. I want my ecology, my ecological makeup to be connected to my religion. Because I want the people that I interact and engage with to be religious people. I want the places where I go to have some type of religious benefit connected to them. I want the things that I engage in to be connected to religious activities. But when I was living in the streets, I paid no attention to that lifestyle. When I was living in the streets, it was get up in the morning. Huh? Make sure you got certain material on you. Huh? You got to have certain things connected to you that make you a part of street life. If you really want to be a part of street life, like I said, the incentives is what? The prison, the graveyard. So every day I come outside, I got to make sure it's a hammer on this side, it's a hammer on that side. I ain't talking about Jack the Hammer. Read between the lines, guys. You know what I'm talking about. It's a hammer on this side and it's a hammer on that side. No matter how good you can fight. In the streets, these, you might not get to use those. These, you might not get to use those, especially if they know you know how to use these. Been in 1,000,001 fights. Huh? I'm from that era. I'm from that era where you had to put your hands up. I'm from that era. But I'm also from an era where the gunslingers was out. Huh? They pulled on you. If you get pulled on and you're naked, you got caught with your pants down. That's street talk. If you got pulled on, meaning somebody pulls a weapon on you, and you're naked, meaning you don't have a firearm on you. You got caught with your pants down. You mean you got caught, you was unprepared. That's street talk. That's slang. All of that slang. Because it comes with what? Street life. Living in the streets. People, places, things. You got to know what? the people. You got to know what? The places. And you got to know the things, how to use them, how to utilize them, if you're going to be a part of that street life. What does it have to offer? A cell, a jail cell. What does it have to offer? A grave cell. Huh? Which one do you want? Which one you sign up for? That's the question. Which one do you like? Which one would you like? Which one would you prefer to have? Which one you signing up for? Every time I contemplate over the decisions that I make, I continually ask myself over and over again, could I have made better decisions? Could I have made better decisions in my life? Of course I could. Of course I could have made better decisions. But once you live that life and you experience certain things from that lifestyle, those things become experiences that you can carry with you on into the future. So when you're approached with those same things that you were approached with in the past, and the outcome of that past was not connected to being positive, now you can practice what we call wisdom. Now you can practice what we call wisdom. Doing and saying the right thing at the right time to the right person in the right place. That's wisdom. Who's the best at it? The one up above, Al-Hakim. Who's the best at it? Al-Hakim, the wise. He's the one that put people in their proper places. He's the one that controls street life. Remember what I told you? You're going to end up where? In jail or a prison cell. In jail, a prison cell, or in the graveyard. Either or, you're going to get your share. Why? Because all ill, all evil conduct, all transgression, all of it that you deserve to get in return, you're going to receive. All good, all blessings, all fortunes that you deserve to have, you're going to receive. Because Al-Hakim, the wise, he's watching over you and he's going to deal with you. He's going to deal with you. He might not deal with you right then and there. He might not deal with you right then and there. He's wise. He knows when the time is right. He knows when the best opportunity is there. He knows. And since he knows, know that you got that coming to you. When you live in the street life, you ain't paying that no mind. When you're living in a life for the streets, you're not paying attention to God's gonna get me. You're not gonna pay attention to God is gonna get me for what I did. So like I said, in the street life, we come outside in the morning with, we already prepared to engage. We're already prepared to engage in that lifestyle. Many of us, we come out to the drug block. The drug block it's just that block where on it, all kind of things go down. Everything. You name it, it's going down. People getting robbed, people getting stuck up, people getting shot, people getting laced off of heroin, people getting laced off of coke, people getting laced off of all types of drugs. The drug block, a serious block. Today, these blocks, you see them all throughout the urban society. When you're living in the streets, you get the opportunity to gauge. You get the opportunity to see just where I'm going to fit in at. Who I'm going to play today. Who I'm going to rob today. Who I'm going to sell some yayo to. Who I'm going to sell some rock back to. You putting it together and you gauging. But just like you're gauging, somebody else gauging too. And they might be gauging you. Just like you're gauging, examining the scenery, examining the environment, checking out the people and the players. It might be somebody out there gauging and examining you. Because you never know where the setup's going to be. The block is a trap. Some call it trapping. They call it trapping for all the reasons that they choose to call it. But I call it a setup. It's one of the biggest setups out. Why is it a setup? Because once you come out, now you're going to be connected to this thing called illegal criminal activity. And once you're involved in illegal criminal activity, now you got certain people with certain interests and concern of you. Who are them? We talking about the boys in blue. Yeah, we talking about the boys in blue. Those who supposed to what? Protect and serve. Those who supposed to protect, those who supposed to serve the community. We're not going to get into that talk there. That's a whole nother discussion. Those who supposed to protect, those who supposed to serve the community. How many police officers today do you see protecting and preserving? Protecting and serving the community. Yes, I'll wait. That's the kind of subject that is. Because when a guy, he gets killed, let's say a guy gets killed on the streets. He on a drug block. He gets shot. 24 hours later, no one's arrested. 48 hours later, no one's arrested. 72 hours later, no one's arrested. The guys that's supposed to protect and serve, no arrest made. 30 days later, no arrest made. 60 days later, no arrest made. 6 months later, no arrest made. A year later, no arrest made. 2 years later, no arrest made. They're supposed to protect and serve. We live in one small town. One small town. Now watch this. A police officer gets shot. In less than 24 to 48 hours, a suspect is apprehended. In less than 24 to 48 hours, a suspect is apprehended. Now, they know how to protect. Now, they serve in the community. What's the difference? The life of a man in the game on the streets has no value to the life of an officer from law enforcement. Think about it. The life of an officer is precious, more precious than the life of a human being that got caught up inside of a system called street life. And many people, they They get caught up with the trap for many, many reasons. No one's in the house. Huh? No food to eat. Huh? Parents high off of drugs. Huh? Parents seduced by drugs. Huh? Kids have nothing to eat. So they return to the streets. And they got to find their best way to do what? To take care of their family. Question marks. A lot of question marks. A lot of question marks when it comes to looking at individuals and why they get engaged in street life. Knowing it's a trap. Knowing the streets is full of informants. As we say, snitches. As we say, rats. We know the streets is full of them. It's always a guy trying to come up because of some dirt that he did. Now, this is his way of giving back. To who? To law enforcement. Like he owe these guys a debt. They ain't do nothing for him except for say, hey, we're going to give you a break. We're not going to charge you with this. We ain't going to charge you with that. But you're going to have to give us something back. That's street life. You get caught up in street life, you might get caught up in that. Huh? They put you in that box. They turn that air up. They take your jacket from you. Huh? They turn that air up. Huh? No water, no bathroom, no phone call, no nothing. And you sitting there, you freezing. But in order for you to get anything, you're going to have to do one thing. You're going to have to talk. You're going to have to talk, and you're going to have to sign on the dotted line. Question is, how long you going to wait? How long are you going to wait? Best word you can say, lawyer. Best word you can say, counsel. Best word you will say, I'm not saying a word until I see my lawyer. You might get beat up. Huh? You might freeze. They ain't gonna let you go to the bathroom. But one thing about time is gonna be on your side. They only can hold you for so long. Question is, how long are you gonna last? They only can hold you for so long. Guess what? How long are you gonna last? Some of them, they try to be funny and just, hold you long as they can. Especially if ain't nobody coming to see you, ain't nobody coming to get you, don't nobody care about you. See, that's another thing you gotta really pay attention to when you connect to the street life. Huh? How many people you taking with you? How many people you leaving behind? If there's no one there caring about you, and they know, ain't nobody gonna come ask about so-and-so. Ain't nobody gonna come ask about John Doe. Ain't nobody gonna come ask about him. We keep him for as long as we want. Especially if he don't know the law. All we need is a signature. All we need him to say is, I seen so-and-so do this and that to so-and-so. Could you want to sign that? Sign that. That's the procedure. That's the policy. That's what comes with street life. How many of them ready for it? How many are you ready for? Another trap, 18 to 26. 18 to 26. Huh? Because from 10 to 17, it's a gap. It's called juvenile. You fall into juvenile delinquency. It's a trap. How do you get there? Suspension and expulsions. That comes up a little bit later in the book. That comes from suspensions and expulsions. But it's also connected to street life. Because the 10-year-old, he's more eager to learn about street life as the 18-year-old. The 10-year-old is more eager to learn about street life than the 18-year-old. The 10-year-old, he looks at, Bobby pull up with the sound system. Bobby pull up with the rims. Bobby pull up with the the Lexus, tinted windows. Bobby pull up. He wants to be Bobby. But he don't know Bobby a rat. He don't know Bobby telling. He don't know Bobby is what? But Bobby's connected to the feds. He don't know that about Bobby. He don't know how Bobby got to where he got. Street life. If you're not ready for it, then don't sign up for it. If you're not ready for that street life, then don't sign up for it. Yeah, this that life. Many of you out there ain't ready for it. My advice, education. My advice, education. My advice, education. Stay in school. Get straight A's and straight B's. Straight A's and B's. Huh? Play some sports. Huh? Be connected to your religious community. Huh? Stay off the streets. Stay off the streets. Single parents, single mothers, single fathers, keep your kids out the streets. Single parents, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, keep your children out of those streets. Keep them out of that street life. Because once the streets get them, you're not getting them back. Once the streets get your kids, you don't get your kids back. A body back. Or you calling you saying, Mom, I need bail money. The bail money's $500,000. I'm going to end it with that. The bail money's $500,000, Mom. They said I killed somebody. Street life. Don't play that game. The best thing a man can offer his child is a good name and a good education. We close again for another episode of the book From Pen to Pen, sponsored by the Pen Files. Purchase the book. My fellow brothers and sisters, purchase the book. Again, purchase the book, my brothers and sisters. Until next week. وقولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله ولي ولكم ونسأل الله تعالى والتوفيق والثبات والسداد. Peace, my brothers and sisters.